Hey neighbor, well it's December here, and you know we've had a cold December. 31 this morning.
Oh.
But we're talking about gardens, so come on in and sit with us a spell. We'd be glad to have you. Well, it's that time of the year where we're getting seed catalogs. We're getting our competitors' seed catalogs in the mail.
And I enjoy looking through them.
They do, and some of them are our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go off the deep end here. High Mowing right here is a organic seed company out of Vermont. I do believe they're out of Vermont. Let me make sure I'm right here.
Uh-oh.
I think they're out of Vermont. Let me make sure I'm right. Yep, Vermont. Some of the nicest people in the world. We actually had dinner with the CEO and a couple of other ladies that was high up in the company there, and
They're
man,
nice people.
just some of the nice people. They told us that if they could ever do anything for them, to let them know they want us to come up there for a visit. Most people in the seed industry, let me say most, just about everybody in the seed industry is really nice, good people. I can't say hardly anything bad about our
I mean,
competitors.
we're friends from Johnny's.
Oh yeah,
All these.
yeah. Totally Tomatoes, Dick Zondag owns that one right there. Been knowing Dick for a long time. So yeah, they're friends of ours.
So it's fun looking through these, making a wish list, thinking about, get you all excited.
all
It'll be here
excited.
before you know it.
Yep. Now we chose not to do a catalog a few years ago, and we hadn't been in the seed business that long, not near as long as some of these people have. The reason is it takes up a lot of money to print these catalogs and send them out, and things change so much. Though they just change so quickly. You can be out of inventory. Imagine printing off a catalog, and you got to have all those varieties in stock all year long, and you can't put anything new in there. You can't offer anything new till next year.
Right, and a lot of times some of our new seeds don't come in until after the first of the year, and some of them we've ordered don't ever come in. So
Yep.
it,
It allows us to be a lot more nimble, to be online only, so just keep that in mind. A lot of people call, won't know about a catalog, and I understand the catalog thing. It's nice to sit there in your chair and look at it, but the fact of the matter is it doesn't make a lot of sense business-wise. The cost of these things, paper and mailing, has gone. You okay?
I thought I felt something under here.
That was this thing here.
I was like, what?
Ooh, something, Maggie's underneath there. But the fact of the matter is, the expense on these right here, mailing has gone up dramatically, and we can offer things at a little cheaper price because we don't have all that outlay in catalogs. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't foresee us doing a catalog in the future, not with online things like they are now. Every time we get a new CD in, we can send out an email or SMS or text or whatever, let you guys know about it. But December, we're getting close to Christmas, but we also got gardening on our mind for next year.
Mm-hmm. What's going on in your garden?
Man, got a good rain over the weekend. I got some beautiful
We got
collards.
4 inches.
4 inches overall.
4 inches.
And we needed it because it's been dry here. But I got some beautiful top chop collards. I got some beautiful kale growing. We've been eating salads.
Mm-hmm.
We had a wonderful salad last night. Just about everything came out of the garden.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got something eating on my brassicas.
I went out there last night with the UV light.
Did you find anything?
I did not find anything, but you do have something eating on your brassicas. But I'm after them, girl.
You
Don't worry
gonna
about
take
it.
care of it?
Yeah, don't have any problem in my garden. Her raised beds, we got a worm down there, or a worm family causing a lot of damage. But I'm gonna take care of them. A black light. I've always heard you could go out there with a black light, so I got me a black light.
Well, I heard that for tomato worms.
Well, a worm is a worm,
Oh,
right?
sure.
So, but I didn't find the worm. I had my little.
Okay.
It was dark, and I was out with my little black light, but I didn't find it. But he's need him not rest because he will be took care
Will
of.
be fine.
Yep.
Christmas cards, Christmas gifts.
Yeah, gift certificates. We have those
Yeah.
available, but just.
Getting to the short days.
Short
if you're gonna
days.
Order.
But I just want to say a little something about that. With the gift buying of the holidays, don't let that consume you. We always telling you we got these gifts to buy, and we do, we're for sale. But take in consideration what the holidays is for. Make sure you spend it with your family and enjoy the holidays, and not let the gift thing stress you out too much. I think it's a good idea if we backed off the gift thing a little bit, didn't do quite so much of that, but enjoyed the
Family
family,
time.
because you never know when they're not going to be here with you the next year. We have someone in our family that's probably not going to be with us next year, so we're trying to make preparations for that and enjoy the holidays as we can. Take them for what we can.
Yeah, never know.
Yep. All right, so we're
So if you was going to order something, when would be the last day?
well, the way the post office, UPS, believe it or not, is doing pretty good
Yeah,
on their
we're
delivery.
having trouble with our post
Oh,
office
post office is
deliveries.
horrendous.
Yeah.
Horrendous. So,
So even though we'll get it shipped out,
same day, but
but they're
they're horrible. Anyway, get it ordered as soon as you can. If you order a bigger package, UPS is going to be pretty good. The smaller packages will run into problems.
seed potato pre-orders.
Seed potatoes, we got seed potatoes. I know it's early, y'all, but we got seed potatoes for pre-orders, and we're hopefully going to have them in a little earlier this year, maybe ship them out a little early. But you're in the South, you can go ahead and get your iced potatoes in zone 9 or 10. You can possibly plant them in January, and hopefully we're going to be able to get them to you in time. So it's always a problem getting these potatoes from up north. Ours come out of Minnesota because they have cold weather and they cannot ship them. They cannot load the truck and ship them when it's below 32 degrees. So we have to wait to have a little break in the weather to get our order shipped out. Turmeric.
Turmeric. So I harvested my turmeric, and this is turmeric that we sold this year.
Can I open it?
Yeah, you can open it. If I didn't seal it up. Ooh.
You did.
Yeah. So I got this new gadget. I should have brought it. That seals these jars. Why do you do that?
What would you use that for?
Well, you cook with it like in chili. I put it in my white chicken chili. You do cook with it, but I use it mainly for the medicinal purposes.
Here we go again.
Right now I buy the little capsules, but I'm thinking of using this, and you do want to mix it with some pepper, fresh ground pepper. It helps with the properties being absorbed. Something like that. I know somebody's gonna correct me. but like,
Well, hold on just a
put a
minute.
little bit
Have you
in coffee.
tasted of it?
Yes, I have.
It really doesn't have an appealing taste to it.
No,
But it's good.
no.
It's good to you, so it's good for you, so it shouldn't necessarily be good to you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
it's
used
not bad.
a lot in cooking.
It is.
A
Turmeric.
lot in cooking.
So you took this and put it in your freeze dryer, and I heard it humming all night.
Yeah, I had orange hands for days. Orange hands. But I got,
And you had one raised bed of turmeric.
and actually I lost some because I had them out in the hot sun. So I actually only had 3 or 4 plants, but I got a quart of it dried.
And hopefully in January we're going to start selling turmeric for the spring.
And then this, smell that. You know what that is?
I think I do. You didn't seal this one.
No, it's got some all over your hand.
Yeah, it's ginger.
I love ginger.
Whoa, yeah,
You're
that's
not-
got. I'm not a huge
you're
ginger
not a
fan, but
ginger
that's
fan.
got some flavor to it.
So I freeze-dried it and ground some of it up, and then some of it I just left in the little pieces. This was a job. How many days did it take me?
Several. Can I try one of those?
Yeah, I would suggest.
That's a lot of ginger.
It's a lot. I think this is enough ginger for years. But
Tank.
it's,
That is tank. Don't take a lot of that, folks. Woo!
but one of those
Wow,
black tub colanders.
that's pungent.
Well, now remember, freeze drying just really brings out those flavors. Once you reconstitute it, it's not going to be that strong.
Whoa. Oh, yeah.
Your eyes are watering. So that's what I've been doing. It's ginger and turmeric.
You know, even though it's December, cold outside, plenty of things you can do.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? We're thinking about next year's garden, and we've already started talking about it ourselves at nighttime. Well, what are we going to do different? What do we need to grow this year, and all that kind of stuff.
It's the perfect time to plan
It is.
and dream and wish.
And the first thing we think about is what do we need? Because the reality, folks, is don't grow it if you don't enjoy it. If you don't, not going to use it, don't grow it, unless it's some type of novelty thing.
Right. So we rely heavily on
Wow.
tomatoes.
Wow, that stuff is pungent.
You want some more?
No, I'm good. Yeah, that's enough to last several years right
Yeah.
there.
You made me lose my train of thought. Are you through?
Through. Soil sample, time to get that soil sample.
Yeah.
Right now, it's perfect time for you guys to get your soil sample and get it back in. Find out what your pH is, your phosphorus, your potassium levels, and I always caution people this right here. Your magnesium level and your calcium levels is probably going to be what you don't think they are. So,
Prepare your garden beds. Go ahead and clean up the debris. Go ahead and amend them, and then either plant a cover crop or cover them with some mulch or plastic, a tarp. Put them to bed, and they'll be right and ready in the spring.
great time to add compost right now and get those microbes, worms, earthworms, and everything working. It's really not a bad time to add compost, but I'd say right now is one of the best times to add compost to your garden and put it to sleep.
And something we've got to do is you plant my fruit trees.
Yep.
Perfect time of the year to put those fruit trees in the ground.
Yep, and we need to, I forgot about that. We need to do that. Berries, good time to plant berries now. I planted mine earlier in the year, but it's a good time to plant your blackberries, blueberries, any of those.
Yeah. And inventory your seeds
Yep.
at night.
Yep. Take a gander at them, see what you know, and then do some planning, do some communication within your family,
Yeah.
and find out what you need to grow this year. Now, we always look at our stockpile, our canning, our freezer, and see what we got, see what we don't have.
So like last year, I had plenty of frozen corn, so you didn't plant as much. Cucumbers, we're running short on pickles. We've had a lot of fish fries, ate a lot of pickles. So I always look and see what I've got in my pantry to let him know how much to plant up there in his big garden.
And I'm going to plant a lot of corn this time. I'm trialing some new varieties of sweet corn, so I'm going to plant a lot of sweet corn for you to put up.
But if you use a lot of tomatoes and soups and stews and salsa, spaghetti, I do all kind of things. Then you need a lot of garlic and peppers and onion, which the garlic and onion you should have in the ground most places here in the South.
Yeah, you're in pretty good shape on your tomato stuff, right? Or do we need to grow a lot?
No, I didn't put up a lot last year. I had, we'll have to review that
Okay.
when we plan it out. Always save space when you're planning to try something new.
Yeah, and let's speak of the tomatoes. I tried a lot of different varieties. In fact, I got a lot to trial out this springtime. The breeders or the seed companies that we buy our seeds from has sent me a lot of samples. So I got a whole tray full of things to grow out and see how well they do for us. Tomatoes is always something that I grow a lot of different kind of tomatoes because I like trialing them out there. I got my staples that I plant, but I always like to grow some indeterminates out there that I've never grown before. And I've got some that I'm going to grow this coming year. The one last year that I grew that did exceptionally well for me was red coral tomato. I'm probably not going to grow that this year because I know how well it does, but it's a wonderful determinate type cherry tomato. So we run across those jewels every now and then. I would say this last year on our tomato field, we probably had as many losers as we did winners in there.
And that's trying to keep a journal or somewhere written down, or even take photos of what you had and what did well, what didn't do well, what you would do again.
And I'm the world's worst for getting what I plant where. So what I've started doing is when I plant it, right when I get through planting it, I come to the office and I take me a piece of paper and I draw it off, map it off, and I stick it on my wall. That seems to work for me. A journal would be fine too, but that just kind of works for me.
The best way to do it would be draw it off before you plant it.
Yeah, I'm not that type person, girl. I got to get out there and get it done. I do it, then I
map it out, and that way you know.
Oh no, I agree with you. You should map out your crop rotation plots. Yes, absolutely. But I'm liable to mix my varieties up once I get out there, like my
Yeah,
tomatoes and
yeah,
things like
but
that.
no, you know, like where are you gonna plant your
My nose is
tomatoes?
running. Whew.
Where are you gonna plant your corn? Think about your crop rotation. What you had in there last year, even the year before.
We don't want to follow corn with corn. We want to follow our tomatoes with corn, something like that right there. Mix it up, get your rotation correct, and move on. Another thing too is our cover crops. So you may have cover crops that you need to maybe work in the soil a little bit later than others. A final example of that is most time my daikon radish, my tillage radish, gets ready before some of my clovers do. So I can extinguish them and work them into the soil, and I got a plot ready a little bit before.
Yeah. So in January, we're actually going to do a show on plotting out your garden. So stay tuned for that. Other things to think about is where are you going to grow your vertical stuff, your trellis and stuff.
Yep. I grew all my cucumbers now on trellises. That's just something I do for now. I used to didn't, but I do now.
So do you make sure that you don't plant them on the wrong, like I was reading tall crops should be on the north side. No.
It didn't make any difference to me.
In my old raised beds, were the pecan trees shaded?
No,
I had trouble with that vertical bed.
That definitely could make an issue there. But as far as north, because my garden's
In
full
the
sun.
summer.
Yep.
Now in the winter, it wasn't that big a deal.
I don't subscribe to that theory about north, south, west, and east. In a garden that's got full sun, I don't subscribe
Yeah,
to
yours
that.
is full sun.
Yep.
I've got to, in my new garden, I've got to learn where to plant that stuff. Vining crops, when you're mapping it out,
Give them plenty of room.
give them plenty of room.
Watermelons, winter squash, things like that need plenty of room.
Yeah. Make sure they don't smother out. And succession planting, where you're going to put the crops that you'll plant, like squash. Sometimes we'll have 2 or 3.
Oh, if not more, yeah, we'll have more than that.
And cucumbers.
Yeah, we'll plant those on like a 2-week succession planting. I'll plant my first summer squash end of February, 1st of March. It's a little bit of a gamble on that one, then we'll go up from there. And the thing about squash is you can't wait till that first crop comes in and you just enjoy them and love them to death, but man, you get tired of them by the time the last ones come in.
And you got to think about like where your onions and garlic, those things that are not going to come off till a little later in the spring.
Yeah, so that's a perfect way to say, okay, okra for one thing doesn't like cool soils. So when your onions come off late, that's a perfect place to go back with something like okra. That keeps you planting your okra too soon.
We have that issue.
Yep.
Always save a few places to tuck in a few herbs.
And flowers.
And flowers. Gotta have those flowers.
Speaking of flowers, you showed me a calendula in bloom.
I did. First calendula of the fall. It's so pretty.
I've got a good patch of Super Bee Facilia that's not blooming. I'm hoping it's going to bloom pretty soon, but it's kind of cool weather for it to be blooming. But maybe it'll do fine. Super Bee Facilia will make it down into the low 20s, maybe even to the teens, so we'll see. We haven't had anything that cool yet. I do think we're going to have a cool winter. I think we're going to end up having a couple hard freezes.
Yeah. So start looking about for what you want to plant next year. Browse through those seed catalogs.
What do you need? What do you enjoy putting up? Now, one thing that we have got to do a better job on is carrots, because we enjoy them so much fermented. We've got a decent amount planted this year, but we have found over the last couple of years that we really enjoy fermented carrots, so we're going to have to start growing more of those. Do your inventory, find out what your family loves to eat, find out and have a discussion what you plan on putting up. Putting up is preserving, whether you do it canning, freezing, fermenting, however, and make plans to grow those crops out so that you have plenty of those to last you throughout the year and to supplement your food pantry.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. And also, make plans to grow at least one thing you've never grown before. Always do that every year. Last year, I grew tobacco. Never grown tobacco before.
Do you know my tobacco is still blooming? So I planted some in the shade.
Now, it didn't get near as big and pretty as mine did, but it has survived.
It's still going.
Yep.
It's still going. It's got seeds in it now. I could replant the seeds.
Yep. So do that. Plant you something you've never grown before, just for the sake of stepping out of the regular
I
sometimes.
grew some white roselle, and I've got to work on my seed saving skills.
Yes, you do.
Yes, because I spent hours saving
I think I might have
seeds.
give you some advice on that, and you didn't
You did,
take
and
my
I thought
advice.
I was doing better, but
You didn't take my advice, did you? Okay. Just want to clear that up.
maybe we need to do a seed saving show.
Seed saving show. A seed
Seed-
saving show.
Yeah. how
Maybe
to
they
save
need to take my advice on seed
Yeah,
saving over
well,
yours. I've been a lot more successful at than you have.
Well,
Okay.
I need some lessons. So
Okay.
you do
You
script
need
it out.
to be able to listen when I give you advice, okay? All right, so we got some questions we want to answer here today that has been submitted on our social media and everything. And we're going to just go through. There ain't many of them. I think there's 5 of them. We haven't thought,
I added some more. I don't think it's on your sheet.
oh, it's not on my sheet.
It's a
Okay.
surprise.
So we're going to answer these. Maybe these will help you. I'm going to get the first couple of them. How about that?
Okay.
Matt Douglas says, what can still be started this month? Matt, I don't know where you live, so this is a tough one to answer, but it's cold here. It's going to be really hard to start stuff into the ground with these real cold temperatures because we're not going to get really good germination. Now, if you got a greenhouse or seed start, things like that,
Things that need to be really warm. Like you could plant some spinach.
if you can get it up. Now, you need a couple warm days where you
Yeah,
can get it.
if
If you
you
can
look
get it
and-
up, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But if you got a greenhouse or a seed starting area in your house where you got grow lights, whatever, lettuce, all kind of things you can start right now and have them come off
And
enjoy-
transplant 'em.
and transplant them, or
Yeah.
either grow them inside. I've got some I've grown in trays. Growing outside can be a little iffy right now, simply because of getting that seed up. It's real tender getting it up. If you can get it up, Swiss chard, spinach will do fine.
Broccoli, cauliflower.
Broccoli, probably, yeah. If you're not, if he's in, excuse me, it's that ginger.
So Stephen Daltrey, again, what can be planted late in the year and still have success? And when to start spring seeds for the spring garden. We're
Now
gonna
he
do a-
tells us where he's at.
Yeah, he's in Florida, Georgia line.
Whoa.
And we're gonna do,
Starting next month, Stephen will start going over that because it will be, you will probably need to be starting some of your stuff in January for the spring. Some of your brassicas you'll need to start in January, and keep up with our email newsletter and our show here, and we'll go over detail what you need to be doing in January. But you need to be getting everything ready because I can tell you we're going to start strong and hard with our brassicas in January.
Linda Branch wants us to talk about the raised beds over the winter if you're not using them. She said she's putting compost on hers. Do we need to cover with a tarp or plastic?
I would say yes, or some type of mulch.
Some type of mulch. I
Yeah,
cover mine
straw.
with pine straw.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good idea. It's not a bad strategy if you're not using cover crops or raised beds to do that.
Joe Cook. I lived in zone 7. When will the tomato plugs be ready? I want the Halcinator and red snapper.
We're working on that right now. They'll probably be for sale. We'll pre-sell them probably in February. They'll be available in March, I hope.
And Ruth McWilliams. Can't grow anything in zone 6 in wintertime. I think she was just...
Ruth, you can grow
can.
some things. You can grow microgreens inside. You can grow lettuces. A lot of stuff you grow just cause it's not outside. You can still grow it inside. You can still grow enough for 2 people. With a grow light kit, you can grow your salads and your microgreens to just about do you all the time as far as your vegetables go.
Okay, I think this is from Instagram. I don't have a name. Having problems with drainage since we've been getting more rain than usual in the past weeks. No heat to cook the water off. I live in zone 8B, loamy soil, southeastern North Carolina. And I've never had any problems with this. Would healing help?
Cultivation, any type of cultivation will help. Anytime you can break that, after you get a hard rain, you can break that crust up and let that soil breathe. It'll dry out a lot quicker. Just earlier today, I was answering a guy an email. He had sowed some mustard and turnips in a broadcast garden, and he was asking the same thing. He was having a lot of problems. If he'd have planted them in rows where he could cultivate them, it could have dried it out a lot quicker. I'm not a huge fan of broadcasting my turnips and mustards. Plant them in rows so you can plow them with the wheel hoe dry out that soil, and let that soil breathe. Let it have that carbon dioxide oxygen exchange. Let it breathe, and that seems to help a lot.
Is it too late to plant onions in Florida? 8B, 9A.
Plant seeds, yes. If you could get some plants, we no longer have plants available. If you could get some plants, you could probably still be okay
I
there.
planted some this past weekend. Okay, the next question, I'm going to try to summarize it. It's a long one. They got a load of cow compost manure added to the raised bed. They're having it explode with weeds and they can't stay on top of it. Not much chance of hard freezes. How to get rid of those pesky plants.
Work it into the soil. Just keep it cultivated and get it aerated and worked up. And
Aggravate it.
Aggravate it to death, yep. It'll also help that manure break down, so that'd be a good strategy there.
Yeah, I've got a little issue where I had that lemon drop.
Reseeding coming up, just keep it worked.
Yeah, let's keep it worked up. Okay, I think that's all the questions.
Garden Spotlight this week is from the great state of Alabama, and it's from Coleman, Alabama. Some of our friends over there in Coleman, Alabama, we met them at Pedals to the Past. Oh, what, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that. Carl and Jan Sutton from Coleman, Alabama. We had a nice conversation with them and just enjoyed meeting them. Talking gardening, we talked for a long time. Great people there, and there they are right there standing there with us. And they sent us in some of their pictures.
A red snapper.
Oh, look at them right there. Ain't they beautiful?
Pink brandywines. And he said these photos were taken December 10th
Wow.
of this year.
Yep. Yep, and they sent us a picture of their greenhouse. Now, I'm going to tell you what I like about our greenhouse here. You see how this is what we call a store-bought greenhouse, but they made sure they had on the sides right there, they had them so they could let the sides up and down so they could get ventilation.
Well, it
in
says
there.
they converted their seldom-used greenhouse to a growing house.
And that is, if you live in the South, that's a must-have right there, is have those sides you can let down and let up so you can get that air in there. Them things will cook your stuff if you leave them shut up and we get one of those warm days come through here. So that's a great idea. I'm glad they did that right there. I have something similar. Mine's works a little different. Serves the same purpose. And they had these tomatoes growing in their grow house or greenhouse. Look at there. Wow. Oh, look at here. They put our seed packs up in there. Look at those. Those are red snapper. Yep, those are the red snappers there. They're beautiful. Now, red snapper is not a heat set variety, one you want to grow in the middle of the summertime. However, it does do well in the fall and in the spring. And look at these right here, man. These are beautiful right here. This is the Brandywine pink tomato. Look how pretty they are.
And they had to throw that in there.
Oh yeah, roll tide, whatever. You know, we're about an hour and a half above Tallahassee, so we're kind of torn on this football playoff thing between Georgia and Florida State Seminoles, but we're going to get through it.
Oh, I left my old goat thing in there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but I had went ahead and drawn, and the winner from last week's, it's not the old goat actually, it's the Grinch. It's hiding somewhere on set.
And if you find it, put your comments below and we'll send you we'll have a draw next week and send out a gift. How about that?
So last week's winner was Homestead Come Lately 6801.
Homestead Come Lately 6801. Send us your information to customer@hosstools.com and you'll be the lucky winner of these wonderful Get Dirty socks. Boom.
Boom.
Ba-boom. All right, folks, think about what you're going to grow. Think about your garden. Plan it out. You know, it's cold. It's wet. Can't do a whole lot outside.
What about our giveaway?
Oh, our giveaway. Oh, man. We're going to do something special here.
Since in the spirit of gift
In the spirit of gift giving, we're going to give away a single wheel hoe, folks.
a single wheel hoe.
Next week, we're going to give it away. You put in the comments below what you're growing this year that you've never grown before.
What you plan on growing.
What you plan on growing this coming year, that you've never grown before, put it in the comments below. And we got this way of randomly picking a comment there, and we're going to give away a single wheel hoe.
And so pay attention to the next week's show. And some of the usernames are hard to trace back, so some is pretty evident. So make sure if you comment to follow up next week to see if you're a winner.
Yep. All right. If you ever get a chance to taste you some freeze-dried ginger, I would recommend you doing that. Well, you know what it tastes like. All right, folks, thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. It's all about gardening, all about growing your own food, and we're getting excited about next year. We got a lot of cool things coming. Come January, we're going to start talking about new for 2024. We got a lot of new great products coming on. We got some new seeds as well. So it's going to be a good year. Thank you for joining. Now get outside and get dirty.